I'm getting ready to prepare part of the garden for onions and leeks. This little area here is my garden plot. It's 40 by 60 and it's kind of on a slant from the removal of the dirt from digging the pond, which is back there. First thing I need to do is mark it off. And this 40 by 60 is going to become 4 plots for rotation gardening, and I'll work each plot as needed. Here's another angle, and here's the status of the pond. Still got, it's got ice on it. Didn't expect to see that. Must have got pretty dang cold last night. Anyway, more to come. Got 9 tent stakes in the garden, separating the 4 different plots. You can see. Over there. And these 4 plots will be rotated every year. Gonna have one for tomatoes and peppers, one for cabbage, the brassicas, one for squash and melons, and peas and beans, the legume family. More to come. Do the outline, each tent stake, and just going back and forth. Okay, this is, of the 4 plots, this is plot 3 actually in the rotation. And I'm getting it ready to plant onions and leeks. And the measurement is 20 by 30. And I've worked the soil. And I like growing sort of like raised beds a little bit to improve drainage. When this plot was done, all the dirt from the pond over there, it's a dug pond, which means that all the dirt was actually dug down instead of a levee pond, and all that dirt had to go somewhere. So it was spread out here, and that's why the land's on a little bit of a slope, and I thought that would be a perfect place for a garden. All the drainage kind of goes this way. Well, when I dug it out, when I had the pond dug out, I could tell it was extremely heavy with clay, so I went ahead and brought in 18 tons of what they called sandy loam. It was really just basically dark colored sand, and I wanted to incorporate that into the clay, because clay is a good thing, but it doesn't drain well, and it becomes a messy sludge when it's really wet. It's not fun to walk in. So added sand, and I also threw in some other things. Threw in some compost from a local nursery, a little bit in certain areas. The original plot wasn't going to be this big, so not all of it has that compost, but I'm going to do 1 plot at a time. And this is plot 3, getting ready for the onions and leeks. While I'm here and thinking about it, this is my rear tine husky tiller. I bought it somewhere between 10 and 15 years ago. It's been a really good tiller. I don't even think they make these anymore under the Husky brand, maybe. But last year I tried to get it going, and it wouldn't start because it sat for a while I was working with the container gardening and getting into RV traveling pretty good. So it sat, and it wouldn't turn over, wouldn't do anything. So that's the purpose of this video. or this segment of the video, and that's to let you know that all I did was buy a little carburetor kit. Not a kit, a whole actual replacement carburetor. Super easy to snap on, and replace a spark plug. It's right back over in there. Replace a spark plug. Threw some fresh oil in it. That son of a gun cranked right back up, and she's purring right along. Anyway, just wanted to tell you, if you've got an old tiller, don't toss her out. Well, I've staked out the first part, the first bed, if you will, and wrapped a string around it. And I got these tent stakes 5 or 6 years ago when I planted my peaches over there, and I used them to keep the tree stable. I like repurposing things, and I've used these tent stakes so many times for so many things, but attached to one down there on the end, one tent stake, I've wrapped a good length of tomato twine. You can probably see it, and I use that to outline using the other tomato stakes. And it's 6 foot by roughly 20 foot there, and what it's going to end up being, it's going to be pulled in at the string all the way around about a foot to raise the level, and I'll show you what that looks like. So anyway, this is what I do first. I stand on one side and I pull it up, and I pull it up, and I pull it up from the string back. And when I do that all the way around, I've got kind of a hill in the middle, and all I do is take the rake and pull it like this all the way down. It's not back-breaking work. I guess the hilling or raising the bed is the hardest part, and I do it back and forth a little bit until I'm comfortable that it's more or less level. Kind of go back and forth like that, and I could leave it flat, you know, I could, but this clay soil is not very deep from the topsoil. So I've learned in the past that if I do it like this, make sort of mini raised beds, or well, I guess they're not mini, they're pretty good sized, that I've got a good bit of the actual topsoil raised higher, and that helps with drainage, and it helps with the root systems going down. So that's basically why I do it. And also the furrows, or the aisles, or the pathways, whatever you want to call it, around the beds serve for drench watering, and I'll get into that. I don't know what it's actually called, but I'll run a hose from there over into the garden. It'll just kind of loop back and forth. That's my hope anyway, if I end up doing it that way. I did buy some drip tape, but I'm not sure if I'm going to use that or not. But anyway, using the pond to soak water will provide really deep irrigation, and we'll see how that works. Anyway, these are the raised beds. I'll do the other side going down the other way, and more to come. Alright, I finished both beds. I'm only going to make 2. And again, this is the onion and leek beds. I've got 2 kinds of sweet onion, Texas grano and Walla Walla, and some American flag leeks. From the time I tilled it to bedding it, for sure under an hour, with the video breaks and everything, still probably under an hour. Sorry about my shadow there. I wanted to show you what they look like, and they really are, effective raised beds, at least in the past. Now with this new plot, this new garden area, I don't know how it's going to behave. I did have soil samples taken and sent them off to the University of Arkansas County Extension Service, and I got the results back, and they're not bad. All the sand incorporated into the clay. It came back mostly with a reading of silty loam. So I suspect I had some loam, a good bit of loam mixed in with the clay already. But anyway, I threw some fertilizer to it already a while back, incorporated that, and I'll do the rest when I plant. Huh, you noticed that, huh? Yep, the ends down here are a little higher, and that was done on purpose because the leeks going to be planted 9 to 10 inches deep to get that nice white stalk. So there you have it, the first 2 parts of the 2014 garden.